Welcome to Baz Travels. After driving 14,826 kilometers through 24 states and Washington, D.C., I've seen rocket launches to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. I've explored Route 66, ghost towns, deserts, snow, and beaches on both coasts. From Vegas casinos to Alcatraz, the White House to Hollywood. Join me for a journey of the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Loading destination. Simulation starting in 3, 2, 1. To look around, move your phone or tablet. Click and drag if on a computer or move your head if using a VR headset. Please like and subscribe.
Municipal Court sits in this part of St. Louis as one of the places where everyday law actually is applied. This is where traffic violations, local ordinances, and minor offences are processed in volume. It is not dramatic, but it is constant, and it directly affects how people experience the city. What makes this more interesting is how St. Louis became part of the national conversation about municipal courts. After the events in Ferguson in 2014, attention shifted how fines and minor violations were being used across the region. Investigations found that some courts were heavily reliant on fines and fees, creating pressure on residents and exposing how local systems could be used in ways that went beyond simple enforcement. That moment pushed changes across the state. Reforms were introduced to reduce excessive fines, improve transparency, and limit how courts could operate financially. So while this building looks routine, it connects to a much larger story about how law is applied, challenged, and adjusted in real time. A short distance away, the United States Postal Service adds another layer that is easy to overlook. The system itself dates back to 1775, making it older than the country it is currently from. It is one of the few services that reaches every address in the United States, regardless of location or profitability. That reach is what makes it significant. Private delivery companies can choose where to operate, but the Postal Service cannot. It has to serve dense cities, remote rural areas, and everything in between. That requirement turns into one of the most consistent national systems still in operation. Everyday activity moves through this network. Legal documents, business shipments, government notices, and personal mail all depend on it. Even in a digital era, the physical movement of information and goods still run through the system at scale. The buildings here reflect that purpose. They are designed for throughput, not presentation. Space is organized around processing, movement, and efficiency. It is a different kind of importance compared to historic landmarks or cultural spaces, but it is just as critical to how the city functions. This section also sits just before the shift towards Union Station. That change becomes clear as you move forward. The focus moves from systems that operate in the background to a place built around movement on a much larger scale, where thousands of people once passed through daily. Union Station was one of the largest and busiest rail terminals in the country at its peak. It handled passenger traffic at a level that defined how people move across the region and beyond. The contrast between that scale and the quieter systems behind you highlight how different parts of the city serve different roles. Taken together, this stretch connects two very different sides of urban life. On one side, systems that process law and communication. On the other, a place built for mass movement and later reinvention. Both are essential, but they operate in very different ways. This is where the city shifts from internal function to outward movement, linking everyday operations to larger flows of people and activity.
Simulation terminated. Please comment, like and subscribe.